It's another Getting Real with Ashleydawn. I'm Ashleydawn, and let's get real. So, I want to talk to you today about you don't know. You don't know. Ashleydawn, what are you talking about? Well, first, you don't know until I tell you. And that's the whole purpose of this video. You don't know somebody's life until they tell you. This all started because I was talking to a friend last night. Most of my Getting Real start by talking to friends. And I was talking to a friend last night, and we were talking about how I was telling them that one of my friends is giving me a couch. And she's like, you didn't have a couch? I was like, no, I don't have a couch. I don't have a dining room table. No. And I was going through all the things that I don't have in my house. And she's like, I would have never known that. I thought that you lived in a really nice house. I kind of thought you had money. And I laughed because I'm like, if you knew where I worked, you'd know that I don't have money. God provides for me, and I have a roof over my head, and I have food in my belly, but I do not live a fancy, luxurious lifestyle that everybody thinks that I do. And it's so funny because on social media, you post a picture of you going out to eat, and people think you're going out to eat every day. You post a picture of you in a nice outfit, and people think you paid full price for it, and you bought it, from the designer. You post a picture of you with a pretty background, and people think you are going on vacation all the time. I can't tell you the last time I went on vacation because I work every single day. I had another friend message me late last night and say, Ashleydawn, you work 3 jobs, and you do photography, and you mentor people, and you teach, and you cook, and you do all these things. How do you have the time? And I'm like, I make the time. I make the time for the things that I want to do, and I hustle. I hustle to pay bills. Listen, nobody's going to pay my bills. It'd be nice if they would, but I'm the only one. I don't have, a super wealthy family that is sending me money. I don't have, daddy's credit card that I could just use. I don't have that, and I'm not complaining. I don't want that. But I'm just saying, so many people think certain things about your life, and they don't know. You listening, you may think things about me that you have no idea. And that's why I started these Getting Reals, because a couple of my friends were saying how envious they were of me and how jealous they were of my life. They're like, oh, you're going here, you're going here, you're going here. And I'm like, I'm not going there for vacation. I'm going there for work. Like these places I'm going, I'm working while I'm there. I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to pay my medical debt off. There's things that I want to do. There's dreams that I have. One of my dreams that I've always had is to go to Israel. I've always dreamt of going to Israel and walking where Jesus walked, and seeing the tombs, and seeing the houses, and seeing the manger, and seeing the different places that are such a part of my life and such a part of my heart. But every time our church goes, it's like $6,000. I don't know about you, but I don't have that kind of money lying around. And then not only that, but you got to think about the time off of work that you're not going to be getting paid for. And you got to think of how that's going to set you back financially. So that's something, that I've always wanted to do. That's a dream of mine. I have a lot of dreams that are, sitting on paper right now, and that's okay. But my point is, you don't know what someone's life is just because you follow them on social media. You don't know what someone's life is just because you maybe are friends with them on Facebook. You don't know unless they tell you. I've actually had friends that were homeless that I did not know until they told me. I thought they were living the best lives ever, and they're like, yeah, I'm sleeping on couches. And I'm like, whoa, what? And they asked if they could sleep on my couch, and I said, well, actually, I don't have a couch. And they said, what? Would you have a guest room? And I said, no, I don't have a guest room either. What? Yeah, no. I live in a very small house. We don't have a guest room. It's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. No. I wish I had a place for you, but I don't. Well, just let me sleep on your couch. I don't have a couch. What do you mean you don't have a couch? We don't have one. We actually, and this is being really real and raw, and listen, it is what it is. There's a song, it's a country song. The lifestyles of the not so rich and famous. Me and my daddy used to sing it all the time because people just think that I live this life and I'm so luxurious and so glamorous, and thank you for thinking that, but my life is definitely not that. And I'm grateful grateful for God and the favor that he puts on me and the anointing that he has put on me and the love that surrounds me. But I don't live a fancy dancy lifestyle. We actually have patio furniture in our living room. We have patio chairs. And fun story, my mom spray painted them. She thought it would be fun to have colorful chairs. The problem is it's sweaty and it's Florida, and when you sit on a when you're sweaty and you sit on a spray painted lawn chair in your living room, the paint on the lawn chair gets on your legs. It's really funny. But anyway, you're welcome for that visual. But, you know, people are like, how do you have patio furniture in your house? Like, that's crazy. Well, why don't you have regular furniture? Well, can I tell you a secret? When I was 8 years old, I had patio furniture in my house. We actually had a patio table as our dinner table with patio chairs. So it's not out of the ordinary for us. My whole life, we have had a cow trough in my backyard that we use as a swimming pool. Yep. And now it's popular. Now everybody's doing this. I told you in my other video, we have been trendsetters. We have been like living the life, trendsetters. Now everybody wants to be poor. Back in the day, nobody wanted to be poor. When I was a little girl, I thrift shopped. Not because I wanted to, because that was the only option I had, right? And now it's trendy. Now everybody does it. We lived in a school bus, not because that was the most luxurious option, because that's all we could afford. My dad rebuilt a church bus into a motorhome, and we lived in it, and we traveled in it. Now it's the most cool thing in the world. Being poor is cool now. When I was poor and when I was little, it was not cool. I got made fun of for it. But now all of a sudden it's all the rage. Anyway, I digress. So we had patio furniture in our living room. And it's not that big of a deal. And people are like, Ashleydawn, I never would have guessed. I know you would have never guessed, because if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know. Because you've probably created this idea in your head that, you know, I have this fancy house and I have all these fancy things. And no, I don't. Most of the things that I have came from a thrift store or were donated. Like the TV we have is like, I don't know, a 30-inch, and it was donated. It was given to us as a gift. The coffee table we have was given to us. The desk we have was given to us. The washing machine was given to us. Our stove and refrigerator was bought like from a friend, like super used. Our window shaker air conditioners were, well, no, I think we bought those from Lowe's. I think we paid full price for those. They might have been like on sale, but you wouldn't know this because I don't talk about it, right? Because nobody's sharing like the things that they're not proud of, which, I mean, I really don't care. Like, I'm happy with my life and I really don't care what anybody else thinks about it. But it's just funny. You wouldn't know unless somebody told you. Don't just think in your head that everybody's life is better than yours and your life is so terrible. I have friends that literally complain all the time. I love them. If you're watching and you're like, ooh, that's me, she's talking about me, I complain all the time. I still love you. But yeah, you do complain all the time. And you're always saying how your life sucks and man, I wish this was different, and I wish this was different, and I wish this was different. Listen, be thankful for the life that you have. Be thankful for the things that you have. There is somebody in your life that is worse off than you. Probably more people than you realize. They just don't share their troubles with you. Would you have ever known anything that I've shared with you in this video? No, you wouldn't have. Would you have ever known that I worked 3 jobs if I didn't tell you? No, you wouldn't. Which, by the way, if you need any photography done, I'm your girl. If you need any calligraphy done, I'm your girl. If you need any marketing, modeling, commercial work, I'm your girl. If you need advertising, if you need an MC or a host for your event, I'm your girl. If you need something, chances are I do it or have done it or can do it. Just so you know. But people wouldn't know that. I used to do tattoos. I don't do them anymore, so I can't help you there. But people don't know about your life unless you tell them. Meaning, you don't know about the people in your life unless they tell you. So stop having all these ideas about other people's life. Take your finger out, point to yourself. How are you doing? How are you living? It's so easy to focus on everybody else and be in everybody else's business. But what does that benefit you? What does it benefit you to be in somebody else's life? God hasn't asked you to question their life. God hasn't asked you to measure your life by theirs, or your life that you're actually living by the life that you see on social media. Maybe you're watching this and you're like, wow, Ashleydawn, like I've been measuring my life with yours and I just thought your life was so glamorous, and now I realize your life sucks. My life does not suck. My life is awesome. Some people may not agree, but that's okay. They don't have to live it. But you know what I mean? Like, people idolize and people put people on pedestals. People don't belong on pedestals. The only thing that belongs on a pedestal is like a statue, and a statue is fake. And guess what? If a statue falls off a pedestal, it could break too. If you put somebody on a pedestal, they're going to break. Your relationship is going to break. What you think of them is going to break. The facade that you've created around their life is going to break. So often we worship people. People were not created to be worshiped. People were created to worship. And the only one worthy of that worship is Jesus Christ. That's why when we worship other things, our life is out of whack and we fall, right? Have you ever seen somebody that maybe worshiped their job and they just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked and just wanted money, and then they got fired, or their business went, bankrupt, or something crazy happened? Well, my friends, that's the thing. They worshiped something that wasn't worthy of that worship. And when you worship something that isn't worthy of that worship, it's like when you put something in a fire that's not pure, right? If you know anything about gold or metals, if you put a metal that's not pure in the fire, it'll burn up. If you put a pure metal, it'll be, purified, and it'll become even better. But you put something that isn't worthy to be worshipped in God's chair, on God's throne, it'll burn up. It wasn't created to sit on God's throne. You put somebody else's life on God's throne. Their life was not made to sit on God's throne. The only one worthy of God's throne is God. And so if you're putting your kids on God's throne, you better take them off. If you're putting your husband or your wife on God's throne, you better take them off. Whatever you're putting on God's throne, if it's not God, you better remove it immediately, because it will be destroyed. Nothing can sit on God's throne except God. And the sooner you realize that, the better off in life you will be, my friend. You don't know about people's life, so don't worship them. Be friends with them, but do not, under any circumstance, worship them. Don't worship them for what you think about them. Don't worship them for, what you know about them. Maybe they are super successful, and maybe you do wish that you were successful. Don't worship them for that. Be their friend, but don't worship them. You don't know what their real life is. And don't compare your life to theirs. Your life is yours, and their life is theirs. And God is giving you what you need for your assignment. God's given them what they need for their assignment. Our assignments are different. We are not supposed to compare ourselves to each other. This is a short video, but I just want to encourage you. Your life is special. Your life is on purpose. Don't compare yourself to somebody, because chances are you don't know all the details about it. You don't know everything. There's so many details that you have no idea about, so don't compare your life to theirs. I love you, but God loves you more. God hasn't withheld anything from you, nor will He. You are seen, you are celebrated, and you are loved, and God has amazing, wonderful, special things just for you, but you'll never see them if you're looking at somebody else. So stop looking at other people and look at God. I love you. I'll catch you in the next one.